Well, hey kids, can you guys hear me okay? Having lots of technical difficulties this evening. Thought I had it all set up, and then when I started getting things completely ready for the stream, everything started going a little bit out of whack. But hopefully you guys can hear me. Can I get a thumbs up in the chat if you guys can hear me? Skittles will probably be making her usual appearance probably right around 9 o'clock-ish, and that's what we'll go with for now. So, thank you everybody for joining. Let's say good evening to some of you. Haunted Mermaid, welcome in. Good vibes. Tony Lopez, Moon Knight Sanchez, welcome in. We've got Kate E as well. Pirate Ghost of Christmas Past, Robert Sprite, welcome in everyone. All right. So, let me see if I could take a look at our poll, see how we're doing with that. And it looks like the crazy hat reveal is the winner. Kind of not surprised with that one. That one was kind of a big deal. So hopefully we'll be getting our new crazy hat sometime soon. I'm not exactly sure where we stand on that. I don't want to be pressing Jen. I know she was under the weather for a little while. Barbara Duncan, welcome in. Weird Old Man, Going Shogi, good to see you. Sky B, Compressor Man Paul, Ange, welcome in. Dapper Vantacrew, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, welcome in everyone. Thank you for joining me. I wasn't sure if you guys were going to have any interest in this year, because I never know who's going to be showing up for one of these kinds of streams, since we're just kind of hanging out at home. We do have some Legos that we will be building later, so stay tuned for that if you'd like to see that getting built. My vote went to others, still new to the channel. Okay. No worries, Going Shogi. But what was your favorite so far, Going Shogi? What's been your favorite moment for TPC wise? Because I've got a big old list, and I think I had to kind of leave a few of them out. There was some that I kind of remembered, over time, but then I was like, I think I've already got too many that we're going to be going over. So, Bianca, welcome in. So we'll give you guys a few more minutes at Haunted Mermaid. The Stash, we may be looking at that one tonight. Swinging in the Rain. Yep, there was some fun stuff that happened over this last year. I've got a few things that I just kind of want to highlight. Not all of them are the silly ones. Some of them are just kind of meaningful moments for me. And one of them, if you guys are members, you guys can go check out the, what is it called? Let me see real quick. Hang on. It was the member stream that was titled A Very Special Wonderland Guest. So if you guys remember, you can go check out that one for a special guest that we had on for one of our member streams. Just enjoyed learning the slang and emojis within the community, like ice cream in the chat and theme park casualty. Yeah, the casualties one, I'm surprised it took us so long to come up with that one. That was a fun little surprise one that landed in my lap basically one night when me and Casual Jr. were just sitting having dinner, watching somebody else's stream. So, oh, Mermaid, you voted for Chalk. That's a good one. Yeah, I've got that one in here. We'll be looking at that. So basically, this is just something I've been doing the last couple of years, just to kind of wrap up the year, have some time to hang out at home, not do the park thing, and just be able to talk to you guys, and let you guys know what were the moments that I enjoyed over the past year. And then Mrs. Casual has been kind enough to buy me those Legos. We did the Cinderella Castle last year, And so this year we'll be doing Sleeping Beauty Castle, and I did receive another castle this year for Christmas, so we'll be doing Agrabah's castle next year. So I'm going to go ahead and hold that one off until we can have another time to do this. Hopefully next year at the end of 2025. So, but I think we'll get started because, like I said, I've got kind of a lot of items to get through, and if there's any technical difficulties, it'll make it just that much longer to deal with. So, hopefully everything goes in the order that I've prepared it. I've tried to make sure that I've got things in the order because working with StreamYard is a little difficult at times. I don't have the pro version. That's why you can see the little logo up there in the corner. I didn't pay to have that removed. And Mary Place 28, welcome in, my friend, everybody. We've got Barry Place 28 in the chat, who just hit, as a Christmas present, 5,000 subscribers, which is amazing. Yeah, that member stream was really special. It was fun. That was the one when we went to Ghirardelli for ice cream because it was a special day for us. And I just remember when they told me the total, I was just like, I'm used to paying like $7, $8 for my ice cream, and that one was a little bit much. So, but anyhow, let's go ahead. I've got these in somewhat of a chronological order. So as we go through this, I will hopefully be able to get things through in the right order because it's hard to tell what's what. So we're going to start with something that happened at the very beginning of the year. And I'm going to go ahead and play it now. Let me make sure that my other computer is muted so that we don't get crazy bleed over, because that's what I was having crazy stuff going on with the sound. So hopefully I've got the sound figured out now, and we should be good. So this was January 10th. So this was early in the year. I think this was among the first live streams of the new year. And let's go ahead and listen in for just a few seconds. Now, those of you who have been around TPC for a while, you're probably sitting there saying, wait a minute, why are we getting on Pirates? He's going to lose the streak. And those of you who are really smart are saying, wow, that was really nice of Barry Place 28 to lend in his phone. Well, I've got a surprise for you guys. Thanks to the incredible generosity of all of you, all the members, all the super chats, we have upgraded. We have the AT&T plan and phone, so we are free to roam anywhere we want in Disneyland. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This has been a wild ride. It was a long time coming to get to this point, but we made it. And again, I have you guys to thank. And so that was actually one of the bigger things that happened for as far as I'm concerned. Just being able to upgrade to the AT&T plan was just like it changed everything for me with the channel. I was able to finally go on rides and things like that. So it was a very big deal. So just finally being able to take you guys on Pirates and Mansion and whatever we wanted to was really, really something that meant a lot to me, mainly because it was the kind of thing where it was your guys' support and Mrs. Casual being understanding that allowed it all to happen. So I'm very grateful for that. So Jeremy Nguyen, welcome in. So that was the first of the fun things that we did. But let's go ahead and go to this one, since we're doing chronological order. We will be doing the one that pretty much everybody wanted to see. This one was probably one of the biggest ones. So this is the crazy hat reveal with Donnieland and Jen. So here we go. All right, here goes. So
I chose this theming because we're having a big story. She crochets, and so she's got a special. And so you want to give it here.
That's huge.
So if you'd like to do
Wow.
So it's Pooh Bear in a pot. But on the back, I want to show you. And it has 11 on the back. And do you see the time I put on the
11:25.
That was
amazing. Thank
You're very welcome. That way, it's a keepsake as well.
Wow.
It would be a keepsake for the family.
11/11. If you guys don't know, that is my birthday, and 11/25 is the time my son was born. And Winnie the Pooh, the ride is his ride with his mama. And when he turned 18, he insisted that he be on the ride at 11:25. So this is beyond what I could have imagined. Oh my gosh, this is.
Hidden Mickeys.
And there's, look at that. Look at that, we got a hidden Mickey here. This is amazing.
This baby goes up and flies. There he is. He's off to the side.
Do we have music to play?
All right, here it goes, guys. Here it goes. Hopefully I get this right.
And then pull down in the back is going to be your best over your ears.
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
Nice.
I love it.
There we go. How do I look? This is awesome. Thank you so much, Jen. This is hilarious. But
Yes.
this is amazing. This is so amazing. Oh my God. we're getting serenaded as well. Oh my God. This is amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, I know. I got to make sure I go under the doorway. All right. So SoCal Sports, we are on our way to the carousel. So, whoa. Yeah, this is going to take a little getting used to. Hopefully my neck is ready for it. But
So we're off to the carousel.
No. Just the friend who made it.
yeah,
Well, excellent job. Thank you.
yeah, this is amazing. I can't.
And then you'll be able to go with him in the house.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And now we can straighten it
Let me
up.
go see how I look.
Okay.
So that was the crazy hat reveal. I still can't believe that she was able to create something like that. I was not expecting that. I had no idea what to expect, really. It was completely a surprise for me. But welcome in, Christy PH Disney, Jason Thibodeau, welcome in. But yeah, it was, and I still get to wear it every now and then. I've worn it a few times now, and I still get the looks. It's so hilarious. Yeah, I know, Bianca. It was just this year. It's hard to believe. But I still get the looks, and she constructed it so amazingly well that it's like I almost forget that I'm wearing it. And after a while, I kind of forget that it's there, and people start looking at me, and I'm kind of like, why are people looking at me? It's just a hat. It's just a hat. And then I see my reflection somewhere, and I'm just like, oh my God, that hat is just ridiculously tall. So it's just, it's such a wonderful, wonderful hat. I'll probably still wear it even after I get the new crazy hat. We may bring this one out every now and then. Manny Uncanny, welcome in. My favorite niece, welcome in, Lauren. So yeah, that one apparently it meant a lot to you guys too, because you guys were saying that's the moment you remember the most, or what was your favorite moment here on TPC. And yeah, it was one of my favorites too. Definitely, it was. I still like I said, the amount of work that it took for something like that is just amazing that she was willing to do that and put that much care into it, which is, very humbling and wonderful to see. David Diaz, welcome in, my friend. So we're going to continue on. I don't think there was anything else in the hat video other than, you kind of watch people, doing this as I'm walking by. So, but we'll catch some other stuff as we move along. So let's see, what do we have next? Okay, so next is one of my favorite things that happened this year, and it was something that came to me really, at a moment, and I had to kind of act on it because I only had, I think, less than 2 weeks before March was upon us. But I came up with the idea for March Madness, which I'll be launching here soon. In fact, I may even be able to give you guys the link so that you guys get the early links to go and do if you wanted to join in with March Madness this year. But basically, this was a little brainchild of mine where, during March, we would try to get on every single ride in Disneyland and California Adventure. And how we would do it is we would let the chat choose. So I would hold up a card. Everybody would guess what card it is. Whoever guessed it, they got to either pick a ride or spin the Wheel of Madness, which you'll probably see here in just a moment. And basically, I was at the mercy of the chat as to where we were going to go that day. And I'll tell you, man, that was probably one of the funnest, sets of streams that I've ever done. It was so interesting because it was like, I just would show up at the park and I'd be like, I have no idea what we're going to be doing today. And so it was interesting to be able to just let myself be led by the chat, have everybody having fun. And then, so I came up with that idea, and then it was, okay, well, how can I have people get more involved? And so we came up with the Pluto game, which is basically ride bingo. And I had to construct all the rules around that and different things. And what do we do with casualties and all this stuff? So it turned into, quite a lot of work, and I was able to get it done in time to where we could actually pull it off. And this was the very first attraction that we went to. So we had a viewer guess the correct card before rope drop and spun the Wheel of Madness, and Wheel of Madness sent us to Rise of the Resistance. We can get there with a little bit of better timing. Todd, yeah. That is one thing, though, I forgot to mention, that if you decide to choose a ride, the ride has to be in the park that I'm currently in. So you can't send me to the furthest reaches of the other park. You must choose it. Like if I'm in Disneyland, you have to choose a Disneyland ride. So let's see. We must go to the entrance, or basically as close as we can get to an entrance. Buddy Hepburn, Mystic Traveler, welcome. I need you guys to remind me stuff like this, like that there are certain rules and stipulations that we have. All right, so. Okay, so we do in fact have our first theme park casualty. So with that, of course, we get our theme park casualty icon. And now we adjust. Okay, so Nancy Hernandez, if you're still in the chat, you get your choice now. Do you want to spin again, or would you like to choose a ride? And welcome in CJL. I thought it was hilarious that our first ride was a casualty. I was like, that is completely appropriate and completely on brand. So Nancy, it is your choice now. Do you want to choose a ride or spin? Okay, we're doing another spin. All right, so let me get the Wheel of Madness ready again. Rise is back in the mix. Oh, we got our spin happening. Omnibus. Okay, now we need to go see if Omnibus is operating at this time. All right, guys, back on down to Main Street. Wow, here we go. Okay. So that was the start of March Madness, and like I said, I thought that was. I sounded so young then. Thanks, Manny. Yeah, it was hilarious to start off with the theme park casualty. I mean, we started off with probably one of the biggest rides at the resort, and sure enough, it was broken that early in the morning, or not operating. Let's not say broken. So yeah, that was exactly, kind of how I wanted it to start. I wanted something to go wrong right away, and sure enough, it did. So yeah, that was the beginning of it. We spent the entire day there. I was streaming. I went all the way to close, but I think I took a small, like, 2-hour break, and then we got in line for Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout toward the end of where I was supposed to break off and stop the stream, take another 2-hour break, and then start up again. And the line for Guardians was like ended up being like almost 2.5 hours before we got off the ride. So it was crazy how like I said, when I was at the mercy of the chat, you just got to do what they're asking. That's the rules I put in place. And so, somebody had picked Guardians toward the end of at the end of the stream, and I was like, well, we got to do it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this year. I think some of you guys kind of hopefully have been able to gauge how it works and maybe be able to start strategizing. But not only was it fun, we had some interesting moments as well. So let me fix this real quick so that we can see which one we're going to be doing. Here we go. And now this one is when things start taking a turn, because what was going on here was it seemed almost every day with March Madness, it was raining on us. And I think this was the night where it kind of got a little bit much for me, and we ended up cutting the stream a little bit short. But here's what happened this time. This one, Haunted Mermaid guessed the correct card and then selected Indy, but we were in DCA, so she had to choose something else. All right, I'm trying to check. Mermaid, it has to be in California Adventure. Indy is in Disneyland. I am terribly sorry. It has to be in DCA at the moment. So Mermaid, he chose Indy because all of them are outdoors. Yeah. There's that part of it. But, well, you can spin the wheel and we can hope for something that's indoors at Disneyland. Or, well, I'm not gonna influence anything. I shouldn't be doing that. Cordy, yes, we've done Soarin' already. Silly Symphony Swings. Wow. All right. Well, did we do Silly Symphony Swings yet? Kiki and Luke, a member for 7 months. Thank you so much, by the way. Yeah, we're gonna do Silly Symphony Swings, and here's how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna have to put you guys on a little bit of a hold. So let me see if I could just kind of fast forward over to where we're actually getting on the swings in the rain. Notice there's a whole bunch of people trying to get on this ride, and we're just like pushing them all out of the way. 6 miles tall, welcome in. As long as I stay under the canopy here, I'll be okay. Oh, I've got you guys in the Gambancho here too. That was very nice of the cast member. I need to get the cast member's name, and we need to do a massive group cast compliment because she let me hang my bag over at her little station where it's still under the awning a little bit. Okay, it's raining harder now. Are they playing the entire symphony?
And so our concert ends. Please stay seated until your silly symphony swing comes to a stop. Then lift the lap bar, check for your belongings, and leave through the nearest exit. Thanks for swinging with us. Feel free to freeze on by anytime.
If you want to ride again, just go ahead and remain.
Oh yeah, let's ride again, right? Oh man, that was something. Oh, good times, right? Oh gosh. Yeah, Mermaid, after the fact, we realized, you could have picked Red Car Trolley. There was Mickey's PhilharMagic. There was the Animation Academy. There was like 4 or 5 other attractions that we could have done that were all indoors that she could have picked. But nope, decided Silly Symphony Swings. And, well, we ended up doing it. So, but, like I said, it ended up being one of our favorite moments from the year. So that was great. This was TPC history. Correct. It was. It was. Oh man, I just remember getting off going, did I really just do this in the rain? And I think that was the beginning of where I was like, okay, this is actually uncomfortable to do all this streaming and try to do all this in the rain. But I think this year I'm mentally prepared. So even if there is rain, I think I'm going to be fine. Even if we have rain, I think. So hopefully we'll be ready for March Madness. And real quick, because you guys are hanging out in the chat and here early, I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the chat. Let me double check and make sure that is the correct link. Hold on. Because you guys are going to get first dibs at the March Madness forms. So you'll get to go to your Pluto game sheet request. Grab that and put it over here. So if you guys can let me know if that link in the chat is working. That one will get you to the Pluto request form. And I can't send you guys the final ride guess yet because I'm still finalizing all the attractions because I want to make sure that we get as many as we can. So once I get that completely figured out, I'll be able to get everything over to you guys. So just be watching out for that final ride guess. Gary, welcome in. Jetta, welcome. Barbara Duncan, last day of March Madness was the first time I tuned into your channel. It was raining then too. Bad day for you, great day for me. Oh, thank you. But yeah, that was the day. I remember the last day of March Madness. I was hoping that it was going to be clear skies and everything for us because we had like, I think 4 or 5 attractions that we would have been able to eliminate because I think we had Astro Orbiter back, but then the rain was making it to where we couldn't get on Mark Twain, Columbia, Tom Sawyer Island, and Luigi's. Those ones all ended up being washed out on that day. And it was the kind of thing where it's like, you know, the days that we had decent weather, those rides didn't come up. So Eric Patterson, welcome in. So it was one of those things where, you know, we just had so much rain and so many times that we had attractions that weren't open that we couldn't do, like Luigi's. I think that one ended up being a casualty because of the rain twice on us. Never mind the last day. So it was just one of those things where it was just like I was getting so tired of trying to do a live stream in the rain. And then when you've got the March Madness stuff going on, it's like I got to be able to get somewhere that has cover and dry so I can put the gimbal down and get the cards out and do the cards. And then if we do a spin, we got to do the spin. So it's like you got a whole bunch going on. And when the rain, you know, the rain when you're streaming is just a whole nother factor because you've got umbrella then and all the stuff that you're dealing with. You know, people walking, you got to watch where you're walking because you don't want to step in the big puddles and things like that. So, but like I said, I'm looking forward to March Madness 2.0. I don't know if we should call it 2.0. It should just be March Madness 2 or March Madness 2025. I think we'll just go with that. But I'm really, really looking forward to it. I've got something very fun ready for the first day, at least. I'm not sure if it'll be something that carries out the whole time, but I know the first day I've got something special for you guys going. And I already put the link in the chat. I'll put it one more time just in case for anybody that's just showing up. If you would like to join along and play the March Madness Pluto game, which is basically Ride Bingo, you can request a game sheet here at this link right there. I do need an email address so that I can email it out. I do track who has which card. So I've got them all numbered. Every card is individually constructed. There should be 0 duplicates. There might be the possibility of, you know, a double bingo, but there are absolutely no duplicate game cards. Let's see. Jeremy Heath, welcome in. So hopefully I've got about 100 cards already created. So once we start promoting it, I'll be able to figure out, okay, is 100 cards going to be enough? And I'm working on the website so that you guys will be able to keep track. And, you know, if you don't follow every single live stream, you'll be able to go to a web page and see which rides have been marked off. You'll be able to download the rules and everything there as well. So just keep an eye out for things like that. Starting, I don't think I have a live stream scheduled until possibly January 4th. When then I'll probably start promoting things. And January 4th is still tentative right now because Mrs. Casual has a memorial at the church, and I don't know if she's going to need my help that morning. So I may have to cancel that one. But next week, I don't think I'm going to be streaming at all. I'll probably be taking the week off of streaming, other than our park streamers hang out on Monday. So. Awesome. Nice to see some people are already submitting the form. I can't wait. Like I said, I am so excited for this. This is one of the funnest things I do on the channel, and I'm hoping that we get a whole bunch of newbies, some rookie players this year, so we can see what happens with them. So moving on to the next a special moment. This one's special for me just because of how silly it was that morning. This was what I consider the worst rope drop morning that I've ever had at Disneyland. So last time they weren't taking passengers until about 9, but that was on a rainy day. So let's go see how they're looking right now. I'd say we'll come back and do Pirates, but Pirates isn't open at the moment. You sure they have it? Yep. So we were trying to rope drop and get over to, I think we wanted to do Mark Twain. And unfortunately, Mark Twain doesn't open right at rope drop.
Mark Twain isn't open. Maybe we'll see how Thunder's looking.
Yeah, so we were going to think maybe we'll just skip over to Thunder.
Probably already up to 20, 30 minutes.
Steve and Rocky Singleton, welcome in.
Or is Thunder not open as well? All right, yeah, Thunder's not open either, it looks like.
So we'll skip ahead. So we tried to get on Thunder.
Walls, probably all the way up to here.
Thunder wasn't open. Mark Twain wasn't open. Pirates wasn't open. Haunted Mansion was still under construction at this point.
You gotta get her.
So we decided, let's go on up to Winnie the Pooh. And
right.
Winnie the Pooh is closed as well.
There's nothing to do on this side of the park. You can't get a churro. Can't ride any rides. The ducks are in an awkward phase. So this was the wrong direction to go for rope drop.
So as we're continuing our way back, we decide, okay, well, we'll go on Jungle Cruise.
Yep. They're able to have that extend out so that a person in a wheelchair is able to get on and they can ride in that spot right there. And I think our boat has a malfunction at the moment. Yeah, they are closed temporarily. They are evacuating the line. Thank you. All right. Well, I don't want to go on anything now. Is Indy open yet? Let's just see how long it takes for Adventureland and Frontierland to open.
So what ended up happening was we went all the way back up to Winnie the Pooh, got on Winnie the Pooh, and then we were able to ride Indy. And once we finished Indy,
does this happen to everybody?
We decided to try to get on Pirates.
Slim already snacking on stuff, I presume. Pirates just closed. Pirates closed?
Yeah, we just broke.
Okay.
Yeah, man, that was a super fun morning.
I know.
So at this point, we had been live for over an hour, and we'd barely been able to get on 2 rides, one of them being Winnie the Pooh, which normally, especially in the morning, doesn't have too much of a wait. But it was like almost everything was closed. It was hilarious how bad that morning was. I mean, at one point, there was literally nothing open on that side of the park. Thunder down, Mark Twain, Tom Sawyer Island not open. Pirates down, the Jungle Cruise went down, Haunted Mansion and Splash Mountain were both under construction, and Winnie the Pooh was closed. It was just crazy. I could not believe how bad it was. So we came over here to drown our sorrows. So that was that morning. I always will refer back to that one as the worst rope drop I've ever dealt with. I cannot believe how bad it was. And even like when we were experiencing it, I was just like, "Is this really happening?" I was like, how are we getting every single ride is either broken or not working?" Just it was insane. And yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, I'm glad I have this on camera. It's like I'm glad we're filming this because I don't think anybody would believe me. So yeah, and some of you guys were there for it, and like Mandy said, it was a fun one. In fact, when I went back to watch it, I was noticing there were some chats like from Manny. Let's go see what's going on at Knott's. Other people were like, "Why is he so quiet?" Because they had just come in. Oh man, it was hilarious. So, yeah, so that's kind of how things go here at TPC. We tend to run into those issues. It seems more so than the way other people seem to run into them. But I could be wrong. I could be, thinking that I'm special in that way. So, yeah, exactly, buddy. You can see the wheels turning. Oh man, it was funny. What a morning. But so then moving on, like I said, in chronological order, pretty kind of for the most part. Another big thing that happened, and it was sort of a TPC thing, but it's a Park Streamers thing, is we created the Park Streamers Hangout channel, and with that we ended up having a chalk walk team. This never happened to Mustache Casual. I don't know. Mustache Casual was for March Madness, and March Madness had a lot of rain going, so I don't know if the mustache helps anything. So basically, we launched the channel, and this was our first live stream on the new channel. And if you guys want to go and check it out, at the very beginning, we have the Living Dead fam on there with their daughter, and they talk about why they're doing the chalk walk. And I didn't want to include that here right now because I didn't get an okay from Living Dead fam, and I didn't want to basically kind of broadcast it out again like that without their approval. But right here, this is when we hit $9,000. We had started
a loving
the night
family that goes through things just like anyone else.
At the $8,000 mark.
Thank you guys for loving us for who we are.
And here we ended up crossing 9,000 that night. So we had $1,000 worth of donations coming in just during. Yeah, and you know what? We need a spooky season. Experts to guide us through all the haunts and mazes and all that stuff. So
we got you covered.
You're in a good place. You're in a good place.
Thank you.
Look at that, over $9,000.
$9,026. And by the way, Holly just donated to me. Thank you so much, Holly. Izzo, Thomas, is it Fiedler? I hope I say your name correctly. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys. My dad, obviously. Thank you so much, Dad. You guys are amazing, and obviously you're helping us, and who knows, maybe we'll reach our 10,000 tonight, and if not,
yeah, I'm not able to get to any of the parks tomorrow. I'll be at Disneyland on Wednesday. And so right here,
We did
What?
it.
We
Remember?
did
Are
it?
you serious?
Shush.
We cleared $10,000.
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh.
of
Wow.
donations that night.
Izzo.
Slim Devin and Izzo put together brought us way over the top. Yeah, we had a couple people that night that were just kind of going crazy. Izzo's place and Slim Devin, among others.
Oh my gosh.
There were so many,
Oh,
so many amazing
none of you
people.
get super chats till next year.
But
But
that was amazing to be part of it.
Well,
I'm perfectly fine with that, Izzo. That is extremely generous. That was an amazing night for me. Welcome in Brian Sevilla. Welcome in Tiffany Johnson. It just it was so amazing and humbling to be part of that. And then the day of the walk, we were having fun. I mean, I think we had 7 live streamers. We had really made an impression on Chalk, the people that run the Chalk Walk. We made an impression with them. So we're hoping that, next year we may even, be able to contact them early and see if we could get, maybe some possible, a little bit better access and be able to show you guys more of the walk as well, because we were so we were so far behind in everything. We're all filming and everybody's, you got 7 streamers plus family plus stuff going on, and we ended up missing out on a big chunk of walking around DCA, and so we kind of got shuffled out a little bit early, and our walk was cut short because we were lagging toward the back of the whole group. But we are going to open it up for anyone who wants to join the team again this year. So if you guys had fun watching and thought, hey, I would love to be able to be part of that, feel free to join us this year. I think it's raised $125 and you get to do the walk. And if you don't have a magic key, it is raised, I think, $350, and you get a ticket for the park that day, and then you'll be able to hang out for the whole day at Disneyland and California Adventure. So, but with that, we go to our next moment, and this was at the Chalk Walk. This is we had finished the Chalk Walk, and we were in downtown Disney, all hanging out, wrapping up the morning together, and this is how we capped it off.
We're going to run back to the cars, and then we're going to go back into Disneyland. So if you guys want to hang out, we could go do some ride takeovers. If not, feel free to just go do your own thing. Thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate everything. I mean, this $13,000, you guys. That's insane. So
33, so we said we were Club 33.
So yeah, that's right. We did Club 33, guys. 13,033.
So we ended up with, at the end of that day, over $13,000, which was just mind-blowing for me. I could not believe how generous our community was, and probably will be going forward, because like I said, we're doing Chalk Walk again. We're hoping for a lot more participants on the team, a lot more people joining us for the walk. But at the end of it, we ended up clearing $14,000. And as some of you guys who have been around Theme Park Casual with our charity streams, my goal is always $1 more than last year. It's something that I got from Jerry Lewis when he would do the Labor Day, the muscular dystrophy telethons. He always promised the kids $1 more every year. It's going to be, next year we'll raise $1 more. That's the promise, and that's what I always try to encourage and hope that the community can come together to do even just a little bit better than they did last time. And like I said, we're going to be pushing this pretty hard this year. We're going to be reminding everybody. I think last year, talking to the streamers, we kind of didn't make a big push until the end, but we're definitely going to be, probably as soon as anything gets announced, we'll be bringing it to you guys and letting you guys know what's going on. Bianca going shogi, yeah, by all means. And this is the kind of thing where you can raise funds. You do not have to be in Southern California. You can join the team and raise funds from wherever you are in the country, and just walk with us, either virtually or in spirit. So don't feel like, oh well, I don't live in Southern California, so I'm not going to be able to participate. You can definitely participate and raise funds with us. And then, like I said, you can join us virtually when we do our live stream. And if you are part of the team, we'll figure out some way to have you included in the walk in some fashion. So yeah, Bianca Gochogi, would love to have you guys join us. Anybody else that wants to, like I said, once we get the team put together and they let us register and everything, I will have that all set up. And like I said, most of us, the streamers that did it last year, when we were done, we had another time to wrap up and talk about it, and everybody was really excited to be going. In fact, if you look back here, I've got a framed photo of us at the finish line with my medal and autographs from the entire team, as well as plenty of the characters that we saw along the way. And I can say thank you to George and Lynn for that, because they put it together. George was taking pictures for us all the entire time, and then Lynn was making sure that the characters and everybody was autographing the frame. And I had no idea what they were doing, and then they presented that to me. And like I said, I was beyond humbled by that alone. So hopefully next year we'll have a ton of people and it'll be just as much fun. All right, next one, we're going to go into some Knott's Berry Farm in the summer nights. And this is just because we have fun hanging out there, and it's just they're just a great show every time we've gone. This is Adelaide. And welcome in Dark Ride Arts. Yeah, we have a blast at summer nights. In fact, if I skip through here, we'll look at like probably another 4 other bands, the other time. So let's just skip on through a little bit. And yeah, buddy, Adelaide is always good, even when we saw them at DCA the other night.
till we found each sound. First time we asked if I would pour you a second. The 30 before you just giving our record. Did the Spanish feeling 60s melody. 7 for the outside world.
It's a good crowd tonight.
So yeah, Not Summer Nights, I think is probably one of our favorite things to do on the streams. I love going there and just bouncing from stage to stage to stage and catching all the different acts. Unfortunately, with my schedule now, with the full-time job, it was a little bit tougher to get there on different nights because they have different bands on different nights, and a lot of them, they have, there's the Monday slot, the Wednesday slot, and they kind of keep them in that schedule, but they change them out, every night. And then even the bands there, they'll do different sets each time. So, but yeah, man, I love going to Knott's Summer Nights. Knott's does their festivals really well. Boysenberry Festival has the food and all the, it feels like Knott's comes, extra alive at that point. It's like extra vintage Knott's, if you will. It feels like that is their sweet spot with the Boysenberry Festival. But Summer Nights is fantastic. And then, as you guys have seen on the last couple of streams with Mary Farm, they do a fantastic job at the holidays too. So, yeah, Knott's had a way better summer program than Disney. Yeah, although, see, this is the part where I'm starting to wonder if I've been wrong this whole time. Because with the holidays, I didn't realize there was all the entertainment until I was able to check in the app in a different way than I normally check for things. Normally in the app, I'll be in the map view and I'll check, and I can switch it from attractions to entertainment to dining and whatever. And I went a different route the other day, I think it was early December, and noticed that the entertainment is very full. There's the stage over in the Hollywood backlot, the main one, and then there's the small stage off to the side that had acts. They had the main stage in front of the Pixar Pier Lagoon, or whatever they call that, right there on the main stage. And they also had the Paradise Gardens stage going as well. And I had no idea that all this was happening. In fact, that day when I got there, I started Instagram Live, and we caught the Mickey's Happy Holidays Cavalcade, and then we caught the Maribel's Gifts of the Season show, and then we saw Adelaide, and then we saw the Dreamboats, and then we saw The Light Within, and then we saw Festmeister Hans, and then we saw World of Color. I mean, that is an incredible lineup, and that was all from 4:30 to 8:30 because they closed early that day. It was nuts how much entertainment they had that I didn't even know about. The only ones that I really knew about was the Mickey's Cavalcade, the Gifts of the Season, which, it's a cute little show. It's tough to see because it's over in the, Paradise Gardens area, and it's got a very small, front row seating type of viewing. And then World of Color, that would have been all I would have thought that there really was. And they had band after band after band after band, and it was just crazy that there was that much entertainment that, someone like me who likes the entertainment and, usually looks for it, can't find it easily enough. And so it just really, really bugged me how bad that was. But thankfully we've learned it. So now when there are the festivals, I'll know where to look just to make sure. So I'm going to check next summer to see if Disneyland has a little bit better. Although they did have Pixar Fest going. So I know that the one stage where we saw Festmeister Hans, that one was just showing the Pixar shorts in the little drive-in theater style that they created over there. And Carolee Wilkins, thank you for subscribing. So now we're going to go on to another one that I had actually, I thought was funny, but I actually had a couple of people kind of mention it, that this was one of their favorite moments, which is kind of funny to me. So basically, this was the day that I went to Disneyland with a sock that had a hole in it, and I knew there was a hole in the sock, but I thought I would be okay. And it actually ended up hurting, really bad on my big toe. And I mentioned it to everybody watching, and as you can see right here, CMC Kelly Marie, she jokingly said, "My GoFundMe for TPC socks is almost ready." So everybody started leaning into that a little bit.
Oh, not socks in the chat. You guys are killing me. No. Oh, no.
So right now I'm trying to think, okay, what do I do? How do I get just off the sock thing? Because I don't want this to become a thing. And well, as you guys can see in the current chat right now, we've already got socks in the chat. So it became something. And as we continued on, we had our friend David Diaz actually throw in a super chat with a sock contribution. And so at that point, I'm like, "Oh, do I got to go get socks?"
Oh, David Diaz, David Diaz, thank you so much for the super chat, even though it's a silly contribution. But thank you so much, $19.99 for the super chat to the sock fund. And we'll have to let Mrs. Casual know that she needs to pick me up some socks next time she's at the store where they have the good deal on socks that I like. But ice cream's in the chat for our friend David.
See, because right there I was thinking, oh, well, I'm going to, they're obviously wanting me to go buy some socks when I get out of Disneyland, go buy some, better socks.
Sock shopping after Tiki Room.
And then Barbara says, no, we're going to go shopping right after Tiki Room.
Disneyland? Is that what you guys are saying? Because I know which ones I'm going to go get if that's the case. Callie Marie, that's exactly what I was thinking. All right, tell you what, after Tiki Room, we'll go have a musical interlude and we will do some sock shopping.
So yeah, the sock thing kind of became its own little thing that day.
But here's a fun little fact. At the office where I work, there was a guy very, very beloved in the company. Worked for the company for 12 some odd years, something like that. One of his little things that endeared him to everybody, he would walk around without his shoes on, just in his, slacks and socks. He'd have his shirt. Well, his name was Dan, and he retired earlier this year. And once I found out, hey, actually he gets to walk around without his shoes on. I want to do that. So once he left, I became the guy who walks around without his shoes on.
So yeah, that's actually what ended up happening. I'm the guy now at the office who walks around without his shoes on much of the time. So we went over and we went to play some music. And right off to the side here is where there's socks, so that's what we did. And yes, Mermaid. There is always some sort of shenanigan happening in a TPC stream. And yes, I got nothing through in $10 as well toward the sock fund. No, Manny, I still wear that sock, which is kind of hilarious. Gosh, Dan sounds like a smart man. He was. He was actually a really good guy. But that's why I kind of picked up the shoeless Dan mantle.
Look, it's kind of like what does that mean? Not following on that one. All right, so it's going to be between those two options for the socks.
Adventures with Rhoda Kamish, welcome in.
So we got People Mover or Theme Park. And again, like thank you so much, Robola, for the super chat. We will be picking up socks, and if they had a single left sock, I would ask them. Could I just get the left one? People Mover or old school. Okay, you guys like the old school Donald? I'm actually. It's going to be between these two. Those are the two that I want. I know the People Mover I've been wanting. So I think we're going to go People Mover because that pin is kind of bugging me. That's like making me think there's something weird. I mean, why would you put a pin in your sock? I'm still trying to figure that out. What is it? You're supposed to like pin it to your pants so the socks don't fall? What is that?
I'm noticing right now in the chat, Al Slim said, for the washer, you pin them together. And I was like, oh, that makes sense.
See, if they
I didn't even notice that on the first
Daisy and
round.
Donald like that, then yeah, you would want to mix and match. Kind of the way they do the Chip and Dale thing. I'm surprised they didn't do that with Daisy and Donald. All right, guys, we are going to go People Mover. That's the socks we're getting.
All right. So that's what we ended up doing with that one. We ended up getting our People Mover socks that day, and that's why every now and then, if you guys are on the live stream and we're talking about wet, soggy socks, and people start throwing socks in the chat, that's why. It's all from that one day where I had a hole in my sock, and everybody let me know that it was hilarious. All right, so moving on to the next one. This one was one of the coolest things. We got to hang out at the Orchestrion, and we actually got to meet the gentleman who works on these.
When did they make that? This machine? Yeah. 100 years ago. Really? 1925, thereabouts.
Wow.
Yes. And Walt purchased this machine with a collection of instruments in 1953, before he even had this land.
Really?
He was just thinking about what things he would need when he opened his park.
Well, you would need that.
He would need
Yeah,
this,
definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. Don't want to be without one of those.
That is
And
totally cool.
in 1974, I was a gopher for entertainment,
Yeah.
counting pianos, and I wandered into the shop that works on these things. They had nobody to work on it.
Right.
And I said, boy, I'd like to be doing what. There was a guy cleaning a player piano.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to be doing what you're doing. He says, we're looking for someone to do this. And we talked to the foreman. The superintendent, the manager, and they hired me because I was mechanically inclined, studying to be a piano technician.
Okay.
And I majored in music.
Nice.
And that became my career.
I'd say they got lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, the bigger instrument that's in the Penny Arcade, Candy Palace, they had removed that 2 years before to refinish the case, and they didn't have anybody that could put it back together.
Oh wow!
And that was my first job. Was
Put that back
for
together.
5 months was put that back together. And
Oh
I
my
never
gosh.
seen or heard one, and it was just a giant puzzle. And
Wow.
literally a bucket of screws. And I laid out all the screws by their size and their head and that sort of thing. And then when I needed 4 screws, 4 flathead screws, I had measured how long the hole was with the wire.
Right.
And then I'd find 4 screws that would
That
go
would
right
fit.
there. And that's what I did.
Wow.
And that was
So yeah, we got to meet David, and that was just amazing. And if you want to see the whole interview, there's a couple more minutes worth of it. It's the Quacking Up at Disneyland stream that you can see right there, and it's early on. It's at the 47-minute mark or so. But yeah, that was really cool to get to meet him and just sit there and talk to him, listen to his little story about how he got to, basically fell into that job, and he's been doing it for the last 50 years or so. So yeah, it's just amazing to get to meet somebody that has that sort of a job. It's like, how do you get that job? That's crazy. Yeah, exactly. Go on Shogi. They should have him on the show schedule when he does maintenance. Yeah, it'd be awesome to be able to run into him again. So hopefully we'll get to see him, sometime soon at the parks. That would be awesome. And then this next thing, real quick here. I know I'm taking a lot longer than I expected. I thought I was going to go about an hour with these, but I'm having fun. I don't care if you're not having fun. I'm sorry. But this was fun because when I did this, I was just on the tram. I took a picture of this banner, and I was just like, God, that is the worst looking banner they could have possibly done. I mean, it has zero oomph. It doesn't make you want to buy anything. And you can see in the post, it says, looks like it could be the packaging for a store brand antihistamine. And as you go through, you've got, this isn't the right one. There's people that agree with it. You can see that it's like, somebody said, I knew it looked familiar, and it's a Visine package. And, everybody just saying, yeah, you're right. This is the Flonase packaging. So it kind of, struck a chord with people. And, at the time I was like, yeah, it's easy to make fun of them, and bash, what they're doing. But if I'm going to be a graphic designer and critique it, okay, Mr. Big Shot, what would you do? So I redesigned it, and it ended up, again, with this one, I think this was probably my tweet with the most likes I've ever had, with over 1,000 likes and 120,000 views. And it was just hilarious how everybody, was just like, oh my God, that looks so much better. And like I said, I did this in less than an hour, counting the time to find the artwork and even redraw the logo, because I had a little lightning bolt, because I thought that LL was just a little too boring, needed something. And, like I said, I'm including this one in the moments for Theme Park Casual, just because it's like, this is what when I'm critiquing, this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff where I'm saying, it's like, if you guys think that I'm being theme park cranky, it's because I see differences in these kind of things. When I see something that, feels, along the lines of this, where it's like, wait a minute, they could have done better. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I critique so insane sometimes. There's details and things that you can do that do not necessarily take a ton of time or even more money. Because like I said, I did this in less than an hour. It's not like, oh, well, they would have had to pay, some, crazy, ultra great graphic designer, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to be able to do stuff like that. No, you don't. You just need to have somebody who understands what's going on. And I've heard people say that maybe they did this on purpose to kind of promote it, but discourage it. They don't want a lot of people buying it. And it's like, well, I don't necessarily buy that. Because if you're going to spend the money to put a banner up, it should be for something that you want to make money off of. This is prime real estate as people are coming in the park, and there's nothing else to look at other than bushes. People are just kind of hanging out on the tram. They might be talking with their family, but if you have a chance to promote something, promote something that you want people to buy. So this does not do that for me. So like I said, I just wanted to include it because, it felt like one of my little moments of being able to, show off and say, you know what, this is why when I'm critiquing, this is why I get a little miffed at Disney when they do less than stellar work. So for those of you that, tell me that I'm being overly critical, or, hey, come on, I don't care. I think they could do better in certain things, and I'm not gonna be quiet about it. Christina H, welcome in. Go and Shogun. Yeah, that was one of the things a lot of people were saying. How did they not have Lightning McQueen on there? I was saying that you don't want the same thing to happen with what happened with Genie. You kind of start associating Genie with this service, and if the service is not a home run type of service for everybody, you could end up having a bad association, and that's a very marketing type of thing that you go deep into. It's like really thinking about that when it comes to branding. Some people even criticize that I had the characters on there, that maybe they didn't want to put characters with it, and I get that, but it's like when you just kind of throw characters generically in there, the way I did, it was kind of like characters that looked like they were like tromping along in line. They were in a line format. It was like, okay, you're kind of just reinforcing this idea that there is a line. You're going to be going through a queue of some sort. So that's why I think that they probably steered clear of using Lightning McQueen, because I think they didn't want to potentially muddy up his brand, because the Cars brand is still gigantic. I mean, little kids are always going to love Cars. So that brand needs to be solid, and you don't want to taint it in any way if you don't have to. And I think that's probably the mentality that they had going into it. That's just a guess. I have no idea. That's, if I was sitting in that room debating, should we have Lightning McQueen? Should we not have Lightning McQueen? That's what I would be talking about. I'd be saying, do we want to associate him with the brand, with this service that could possibly go away? It could possibly be, a black eye for the company, that, people are not liking it. They're feeling like they're getting gouged. Do we want Lightning McQueen to have that association? So I think I would probably try to talk them out of it as well. All right, next one. This one's tough for me, because when I do go back and rewatch streams to catch things that were in the chat, I do not listen to the Autopia karaoke. I don't. I don't think I've ever listened to. I think I've listened to little pieces, but I do not go back and listen to the Autopia karaoke. I either skip over that part if I need to, or I'll mute it just to see what people are saying in the chat. That's about it. And I do go back and rewatch a lot of the streams, because there's a lot of times where I feel like I probably missed something in the chat, and I've gone back and seen things, and I'll try to, if I can, send an email or direct message to somebody to say, hey, I saw your chat on the I rewatched it, saw your chat, apologize for missing it or whatever. So I do try to keep up with you guys as best I can. I try not to miss anything, and sometimes you guys have wonderful comments, incredible, hilarious jokes that I'm like, oh, I wish I would have caught that on the stream. So I like to go back and keep an eye on things like that. But this one I'm going to have to listen to, because we are reminiscing this last year. And this one was really fun. And I have to say thank you to, first off, Goofy Guy for joining me, Goofy Guy for giving me the inspiration to even attempt Autopia karaoke, which is something that was so far beyond my comfort zone. You can ask Mrs. Casual, that she was like, how come you'll sing for those people and you've never sang at home? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I think it's because I've got the Autopia car, and I feel like you can't hear me, and there's the rumbling. And so if it sounds terrible, it's like, oh, well, I was shaking around in the car. I don't know. But in any case, Goofy Guy was the inspiration for Autopia karaoke. And on this night, I ran into him and Rebecca, and Goofy Guy was, game to go on and do a duet. And Rebecca was nice enough to let him, basically ditch out for about an hour and do this with me. So there is Autopia karaoke with Goofy Guy. I'm only going to play a little bit of it, because there's a part in here that, we were laughing at, but I'll explain it in a second here.
So here we go. We have got the first collab between Goofy Guy's Adventures and Theme Park Casual. We are going way back to the 80s for some hair metal. Join in if you know the words. She's got a smile that it seems to me reminds me of childhood memories where everything was as fresh as the bright blue sky. Now and then when I see her face, she takes me away to that special place. And if I stay too long, I'd probably break down and cry. Take the chorus.
I don't
Whoa, sweet child of mine.
That's the noise you guys are hearing.
Oh, sweet lullaby.
Yeah! Let's go! Come on, I got your back.
She's got eyes of the bluest skies as if they thought of rain. I'd hate to look into those eyes and see an ounce of pain. Her hair reminds me of a warm, safe place where as a child I'd hide and pray for the thunder and the rain to quietly pass me by. Whoa!
Okay, that's enough. The part right there when you hear us both, going, "Ah!" like that was because the car next to us started singing along with us because he heard us singing, so he joined in as well. And yeah, it was something else. Welcome in Monorail Molly, M&M's, Gumballs. Welcome, and Jetta, welcome in. Yeah, that was it's like a sitcom with a laugh track. Yeah, I don't know how we got through that. It was like Larry doesn't do Autopia karaoke the way I do it. He loves to just freestyle, and he'll make up a song or he'll twist the lyrics around. And but yeah, so that was something. It was hilarious. Like I said, I think the funniest part was that the person next to us started singing along with us, which was just I don't know if that's flattering or embarrassing even further. So yeah, very, very. Oh, where'd that go? It was. I'm surprised this didn't get copyright strike. Yeah, because I mean, where was it? I think Jetta said it. There it is. Sounds just like the record. That was so awful, so bad. I don't know how do you guys even. I would think after the first time you guys would be like, no, we've had enough of the Autopia karaoke. It's all right. You don't have to do that anymore. Slim Devin, welcome in. Oh, thank you, Slim Devin. Your favorite memory was my birthday. Awesome. And I that was really cool what you guys did. I didn't stream it because it was like, you know what, this is I don't know, I felt kind of weird streaming a little get together that everybody kind of arranged around my birthday. So I was like, I don't want to stream it. I want to be able to just enjoy it and hang out with everybody. But yeah, it was fun to be able to hang out with everyone for my birthday like that. It was really cool. And thank you guys so much for all the gifts and just being my friends and hanging out like that. I appreciate it. Yeah, exactly. Songs aren't recognizable by the algorithm nor by anybody else. If I don't tell you what it is, you guys probably be like, what the heck is he singing? Is he just beating a cow or something? So, but yes, yeah, Autopia karaoke. I don't know how you guys put up with that. I don't know why you guys encourage it. I'm assuming it's just because you want to see just how awful it can get, and it can get pretty darn awful. So then we've got one that I had a few requests for, and this one was kind of fun because I think I knew what everybody was hoping for, wanting to see, and so I let the fans have what they wanted.
But we just decided, you know what? We're going to go ahead and give the fans what they want. So everybody. Well, hey kids, we're here at Oogie Boogie Bash, and we got the hat, and we got the stash going. So I figured for one night I think I could give you guys the stash since Mrs. Casual is at home and we're able to kind of just hang out and be a little silly tonight. We've got the stash going on. So in addition to the hat, I should have bought an extra stash for Pooh and then put a little stash on Pooh. But anyways, like I said, I'm just looking forward to having some fun tonight. This is a very janky little stash, not the most well-made adhesive appendage, but we're gonna make the best of it, and we will be having fun. Like I said, here at Oogie Boogie Bash, got the whole night to go and tromp around.
It's already fallen off.
See if we can straighten the stack. And I gotta say, the little strip of this is getting worse.
Ben, what emo was that?
It's about to fall off. I'm going to be like chewing on the mustache in a second here. It doesn't help that it's really hot out and I'm sweating like crazy. I may have to ask a maintenance guy if he's got a little bit of double stick tape. Well, I tried, guys. I tried. I have to put a little more effort next year, maybe. All right, enough of the janky stash cam.
So I tried. I tried, but man, I need to, if I'm going to do the stash like that, I need to make sure I go to somewhere that has stage makeup and, be able to do proper adhesive. Because yeah, that was, it was like this tiny little, like barely about an inch of double stick tape, so it was like the sides weren't even sticking to anything. It was basically a waste of $6. We got a little bit of fun out of it, but so hopefully the stash will make a reappearance at March Madness. That is part of the March Madness fun, is that I do go basically no shave on the mustache for the month until, it's kind of like the Stanley Cup. You don't shave until you win the cup. So until we complete all the attractions, we don't shave. And yeah, Mermaid, it held the gimbal wire. Actually, it wasn't the wire. In fact, I could probably show you guys if you give me a second. Let me see. Because what ended up happening that night was the gimbal broke. And I had actually two equipment malfunctions that night, which was hilarious. The external mic that I use, the clip snapped off, so I couldn't. There was no way to attach it to the shirt. Normally, I do like the magnet, but the piece that the magnet attaches to had fallen off, and there was no way for me to fix it, so I couldn't use the external mic. And then later that night, the gimbal decides. So if you guys notice right here, there's this little lever, little button that is normally up, and it holds this part locked in place. So what happens is if you can't pull it down and snap it into the open position, this doesn't move. And when the gimbal is trying to adjust as you're walking, this is trying to move it, but this is up and locked in place, and it makes it to where it ends up overheating because the motors are running, but it can't do anything. So what ended up happening is, if you guys can see that little bit of goop that's right there, that is the mustache adhesive that's holding it in a position so that I can actually use the gimbal. And so thankfully the mustache adhesive did not work for the mustache, but it worked to enable me to be able to use the gimbal for the rest of the night. because I was walking with my hand holding the gimbal plus one finger up at the top, holding that thing down for probably about like, I think it was like an hour and a half like that. And it was just like my hand was cramping and everything. It was just not fun. And then finally, I don't know, somebody mentioned, hey, why don't you just, put something in there? And I was like, hey, yeah, you know what? I could kind of ball this up into a little bit and stuff it in the thing. So yeah, it was it was a heck of a night, but we had fun. We ended up having an absolute blast, and then we ended up closing the night with this, which is Villains Grove. We did it 4 times, twice right here at the end of the night. We were the last ones in Villains Grove, and this is the ending of our night at Oogie Boogie Bash with no one else in Villains Grove except for like 5 or 6 cast members that are following me and trying to, usher me out as quick as possible. Yeah, Oogie Boogie Bash, Villains Grove is worth the ticket, worth the price of the ticket alone. It is. The when I went this year, I was like, okay, is Villains Grove going to affect me the same way it did last year? I know I've seen it already. I know what to expect. It is just as cool. I had to see it. I went through it 4 times this year. I was like, I've got to just go, and I just love being in there. There's something about it, the way it takes you through this amazing little. It's not even a story. It's just these vignettes, and it lets you piece everything together. It's just so. It's so surprisingly amazing that I still can't believe that it's there. It's like I don't know how they sold it to say, okay, this is what we're going to do, and the suits, as you will, the bosses said, yeah, that sounds cool, because this does not sound. I mean, I don't know how you pitch it to be able to show exactly what it's going to be. You would have to like construct it and have somebody walk through it to say, okay, see, this is what we want to do. Can you let us actually, full on produce it and do it right? So yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't know how they got it done, but man, am I so glad that they did, because it is amazing going through there. And Jordy, welcome in. Isaac Harris, welcome in. And yes, take this little piece of advice from Manny for those going in 2025. Bring your own candy bag. The one Disney distributes is too small. Yeah, you'll fill up the one that Disney gives you. You'll fill it up after maybe 2, 3 of the treat trails. So you want to have like, bring like a backpack or an extra, sizable bag. I brought one of the like plastic shopping bags, the reusable shopping bags. I brought one of those and basically filled it up, and that's what we used to give out candy this year for Halloween, and we got rid of most of it, really. Eric Smart, welcome in, my friend. But yeah, for me, Villains Grove worth an Oogie Boogie ticket. I will be buying another one this year, probably. If I'm lucky enough and I can swing it, I will definitely be going again this year. I don't care what it. Other people are like, oh, there's not much new at Oogie Boogie, and I get that, but I'm sorry, Villains Grove. I don't care how many years I'm going to see that, and I have to see it again and again and again. So now we're going to go to another Halloween offering that we did, and one that's a little bit in a different vein than Oogie Boogie Bash. This one is Dracula Disco with the Bob Baker Marionette Show. So enjoy. So there's, as you can see, Haunted Mermaid says best show of 2024. So that was the Bob Baker Marionette show at Knott's Spooky Farm. I definitely recommend going and seeing that show. It is wonderful throwback. It is so cute, so refreshing to see that they, like I said, when you got places like Knott's that are doing stuff like this, it's like you got to support it, because these are just beyond cool little shows and not your typical theme park fare, if you will. This is stuff that's much more personal, much more intimate. Then we're going to go to something that our friends over at Donnyland created this year, and they created what they're calling the Big Race. And this one was the Big Race mini race, where we had one night to get in as many attractions as possible. I'm going to show just a quick clip right here of the beginning, and how there were a few of us that had the same mindset at the start here.
All right, so we're going to start the game going here.
Oh my gosh.
So me and my
what's the rules with the Rochambeau?
Park Streamers co-hosts
has to get out?
all had the same idea: come over to monorail. And the piece of paper that we're handing off, that was you had to lose a ride. So you lost an attraction if the game ended and you had that paper. So you got to keep handing it off.
With a trifecta like this could get kind of weird.
Well, you're here, so
I just
are you handing it? But
I don't know what the rules are. It's like
you're supposed to hand it out.
right, but we'll just be sitting here handing it around for.
I'm out of here.
Ryan McCann, welcome in, my friend. And Ryan, I hope you got your.
So that was the Big Race mini race edition. We're bringing it back. I'm not sure when we're planning to do it. I think in April, where we do the actual big race again. So that we'll be doing, I think it's Friday nights, and we'll be doing it over the course of 3 Fridays, and we'll be trying to complete all the attractions in Disneyland. There's a list that they create for it. And be sure to check the list if you're playing, because I got in line for the subs, and the subs were not part of the race. So I was standing in line for about 10, 15 minutes before somebody let me know, hey, that's not on the list. And I was like, oh, all right. So yeah. Oh no, the paper turned itself into an airplane and flew away. Yeah, unfortunately. I don't even remember who ended up with the paper. I don't think I did. I'm surprised Corey didn't hit you with a left hook. Yeah, well, it was fun. And thanks for subscribing, Jordy. And Carol G. Ingle all the way. Welcome in. All right, coming up with the final memory that I'm going to be bringing to you guys right now. And this one was, we did it just this December, and it became, I think it's going to be kind of like Villains Grove, but for Christmas time, where if we don't get to see this again, I'm going to be really upset and bummed. So everybody, I think some of you guys already, somebody mentioned it in the chat, but enjoy Festmeister Hans und die Sauerkrauts, and this is the song Krampus.
Wait till you find out what those poor Austrian children have to deal with. We all love that jolly guy. Ho, 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 ho. Now, on Christmas, and give these But did you know that in the Alps he travels with a special friend? Those naughty children cry for help, but he gets there in the end. He's Krampus, there's Krampus, that Christmas monster Howell said. Yes, he's Krampus, Krampus, I'll watch our children for the Krampus king. To the good little girls and the upright boys, St. Nicholas comes with love. He brings chocolate and lots of it, and fruits and nuts and stuff. But Krampus comes out with his cake, a heck of a fellow they tell. Well, when St. Nick can have a sleep, and the rest don't end up rough. He's Krampus, 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 Krampus. And Christmas monster powerful St. Nick. I guess he's Krampus, Krampus, Krampus. Oh, watch out, children, for the Krampus cake. It's here for Brian on accordion. High five over here. I'm all like 550 inches left for parade. Hey, everybody's in love. Oh, well, it's Krampus. Yes, Krampus. That Christmas monster powerful St. Nick. Oh, well, it's Krampus. Yes, Krampus. Oh, watch out, children, for the Krampus cake. Oh, watch out, children, for the Krampus cake. Watch out for him. Watch out for his cake. Watch out for his cake. Watch out for his cake.
So there you have it, everybody. Festmeister Hans und die Sauerkrauts. Such a surprise. And I'm, like I said, I am so glad that I was able to catch this in the app somehow to be able to see their show, because we ended up seeing them again a week later, a couple weeks later. I would have been so upset to have seen this on somebody else's stream and been like, how come I couldn't get to see them? Because, yeah, especially that first show, we didn't know what to expect. So it was just like, it felt like the whole thing went off the rails and everybody was just, it was just like nuts and mayhem happening over here in this little corner of the park. And it was just awesome. So I can't wait. And in fact, I connected with them on Instagram and everything. And so hopefully when they've got other shows, they do Oktoberfest stuff as well. We'll be able to go and catch them and maybe, you know, maybe have a chance to be able to see them in another setting as well. So, but RJ Leo, welcome in, and Amusement Park Pirates, welcome. But yeah, it was so fun seeing them. Me and Casual Junior, when we carpool to work most of the time, on the way home we'll be listening to this. We've rewatched that entire segment like 3 or 4 times already, because we just get such a kick out of it. But we love the, watch out for his kick, watch out for his kick, watch out. So much fun. So that brings me to the end of our little journey down memory lane for 2024. I just want to say thank you to everybody. We are going to spend some time. I'm going to just go ahead and build a castle. This is one of it's become a tradition here now, where we, kind of take a quick little, like I said, a jaunt down memory lane, and then we just hang out building some Legos. So you're welcome to just hang out. I think we've got some other friends streaming at the parks as well. So if you would prefer to hang out with them, by all means, I completely understand. But we're just going to be sitting here building some Legos from here on out. I'll be watching the chat and everything. So if you have questions or anything, be sure to let me know. And let me adjust things so that you guys can get a good view of the Lego building happening right now. 1 second. Get out of the way. And we will add that there and there. All right, so we've got plenty of space here. Looks like at least of Legos. Oh, there's ice cream for the kids. Yeah. I feel like it's been a while since I've had an ice cream at Disney. I think the last time might have been my birthday. Guess I want to start with bag number 1. That is a good place to start. Let's get it next over here. So what other memories did you guys have from the last year? Did I miss anything that you guys we're like, oh yeah, don't forget about that. I know one thing I had thought I was going to put on there, but then I forgot, was the personal tour that we got from Mickey Mouse of Mickey Mouse's house. That was kind of cool when we happened into his house when he was up there at toward the front portion of the house. And so we have, is it too bright right here? There she is. Yeah, Aurora, Sleeping Beauty, ready to take part in her castle build right now. But the tour of Mickey's house was pretty cool. I have that as a separate video on the channel. So if you haven't seen that, you can go check that out. Winning the Pluto game. Yeah, that was really fun with the Pluto. I was pleasantly surprised with how many people joined in on that. I wasn't sure how it was going to go, if it was going to be well received or not. And it was actually very well received for a fledgling little channel like mine. It was a good response. See, now I've got the Krampus song stuck in my head. He's Krampus, Krampus, Krampus. Christmas monster pal of old St. Nick. Buddy Hepburn, technically that was last year, and they didn't let me film that. That's what was a bummer about about the Walt's apartment tour, is they didn't let us take pictures or anything in there. The only pictures we have are the ones that the Disneyland photographer took. So yeah, that's the only bummer with that one. It was like, oh come on, man, we want to remember this. Yeah, buddy. Like I said, I would recommend that tour to anybody who's a Walt Disney fan, Disneyland fan. It is just one of the coolest feelings to be in that apartment, because it had a, like when you go to a like an antique store and it's got that certain smell to it about, it's not necessarily musty, but you can smell the age in there from all the different artifacts and things like that. That's how it was. But just, knowing that a lot of it was in the same condition as when Walt was around was just so cool. And I never would have spent the money on it. So thank goodness Mrs. Casual said, no, I'm doing this for you. I never would have spent that kind of money. It's not crazy pricey, but, for the three of us, and we ended up taking along some friends as well. It was a decent amount of money. And you guys know how cheap I am. Bianca, looking forward to the Tiki Room Marathon. Well, we gotta hopefully get to 5,000 subscribers. We're still a little ways away from it, but I think eventually we will get there. Hopefully. And like I mentioned earlier, our friend Barry Place 28 smashed all the way through to 5,000 subscribers. He just took off. It was crazy. Crazy how his channel just blew up. But well deserved, well earned. And very, very cool that he got to have that happen on Christmas. I mean, talk about a cool Christmas present. That's almost like a Disney story right there. I don't think you could have planned it any better than that. And if I'm rushing through this, it's because I don't want to keep you guys too late. I think I went a little bit long on the reminiscing, but that just tells you how much crazy cool stuff happened this year that I couldn't even include it all. But welcome in, Paul M. Knew it. And if you guys want to see, additional stuff, just you can backtrack and just look at the title that's in the video when we're watching them, because every video is titled uniquely. I haven't reused titles, so you should be able to spot it just from the title alone. You should be able to get whatever video you'd like to rewatch. Watch out, children, for the Krampus kick. Watch out for his kick. Yeah, I really hope that they bring Festmeister Hans back next year. That's like I said, it's kind of like the Villain's Grove of Christmas now for me. That it's probably just not going to feel like Christmas unless we get to hear the Krampus song. I think a lot of it was just because it was so unexpected. When I first saw the thing, I was like, okay, so it's going to be polka. That'll be fun. It's going to be, lively and bouncy, and we're going to have a good time. And then it just became something crazy that I was just like, oh my gosh, not ready for that. And I'm already doing the IKEA thing because I wasn't paying attention. I have to undo a couple of these. And if you can build IKEA furniture without having to backtrack ever, congratulations, you're really good. Manny, I need to get to knots more this year. That's part of the problem. I think I only made it to knots like maybe 4 or 5 times this year, which is very very out of character, if you will, for me. I usually try to get to knots for Peanut Celebration, for Boysenberry Festival a couple of times. I think what happened this year was with March Madness at Disneyland, I kind of ignored Boysenberry Festival because I was having such a tough time getting decent days, decent weather at Disneyland. So I wasn't able or willing to take a Saturday and get to Boysenberry Festival, which I'm hoping that this year I may be able to do that. Hopefully, we shall see. So it'd be a short video. Yeah, it'd be very short because I don't even think I got to knots until June when we were doing summer nights. I'm going to go for Boysenberry Festival, which is crazy. I probably should have selected some background music to go all the this, so you guys are completely. So it's not a complete ASMR type of stream. RJ Will. Yeah, well, yeah, Legos aren't for everybody, but I'll tell you what, Casual Junior fell in love with Legos at a very early age. And he has not lost his zeal for them at all. I gotta say, even me at 51 years old, I still love Legos. I'm a little particular now with Lego karaoke. We're not doing Lego karaoke after I had to listen to myself on Autopia karaoke. That was bad enough. I still can't believe Casual Junior rebuilt a lot of his sets. Because when he was little, he'd take them apart and just to build new stuff and everything. But then when we moved here, and he was able to decorate and have his room set up the way he wanted, he got some shelving and things like that. And so he decided that he was going to go through and rebuild a bunch of his sets so he could display them. And man, he went through, I think we had like 12 shoebox, plastic shoebox cases, just jumbled with Legos from dozens of sets. And he went through and rebuilt all of his sets. It was crazy. Kid has got some patience when it comes to Legos. And Mermaid had put it in the chat earlier, but I'm trying to get a gauge on interest in the theme park casual hats. It's the same one that I wear during the streams. It's this hat right here. So it's got the castle in the front, and then on the back it's got the theme park casual logo type. I'm gauging interest in those because I would need to purchase them up front and then let you guys order them through Etsy. So trying to see what kind of interest is there in these hats, and is it worth me producing them? So Mermaid just put the link in the chat again. So if you have an interest in those hats, please fill out the form so it'll give me an idea as to whether or not it is something that is worth me investing in or not. I think so far the responses that I have gotten, I don't know if it's gonna be the kind of thing where I'll be producing them. So I just need I need more responses to get a good proper gauge of it. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, I had to clear the throat a little bit. Working on an HO scale model of 1900 era drugstore, just like the clock shop on Main Street, Disney. Wow. See, that's the kind of stuff I don't have the patience for. Legos are about as far as I'll go when it comes to real model building, and you got to paint and tiny little pieces got to fit just right. You got to glue things. You got to wait and be patient. Not my thing. Legos are fun because you can just keep going, and then you can stop if you want, of course, but you don't have to do a section and then put it away for a couple of days and then go back to it. That would be just too much for me. Not to mention, I've got a dog and 2 cats, and I know where I could put it to where it would be safe. Cat hairs all over it. Oh, Mermaid, you just saw the post with your son and the Falcon. My nephew's like that. He had the Jabba's palace or something, and he just wanted like just the minifigs. So I always told Nathan, hey, tell him to give it to you, and you can at least build the palace. You might not have the minifigs, but very cool going, Shogi. See, I love hearing that when people are listening to the stream but doing something else. It's like that's cool. I appreciate even just having it on while you're doing stuff. And yet you guys even still are able to participate in the chat and things like that. It's been tough for me lately with work being busy. It's like I don't get to hang out on the daytime streams, and then at night it's tough for me to be able to hang out for too long. I can usually kind of pop in, catch things for a few minutes. Then we've got our cat, who just for whatever reason is not cooperating with the dog. Well, she's not cooperating with the other cat either. He's just trying to show who's the alpha. So the dog sometimes is just sitting there, and the cat will walk by, get in his face, and smack it. And you're just like, Archie, what are you doing? Good old Archie. Cats are such jerks. I know, it's crazy. And then he'll be like, oh, look at me, I'm so cute. It's like, gosh darn you, Archie. Bianca, no, I don't ever glue the pieces. I don't think Casual Junior has ever done that on his. Cats knock down the set. They don't knock down mine. Mine are up over here. That's where I have a couple of little sets that I have, and then you can see got some of the characters up over here. Just a little bit. You can see I've got some of the minifigs right here. Of course, I have to have this one. This one's probably my favorite that they released. Having Robin Hood. There it is. Favorite minifigure. When they released that set, I was like, I have to have Robin Hood. And so Mr. Casual and Casual Junior made sure that they found that one for me. From what Casual Junior says, the Dungeons and Dragons minifigure set was pretty popular with one of the dragon creatures or something like that. Yeah, exactly, Go and Shogi. It's the Lego stuff is extremely well engineered. Man, you've been working on card tricks. I've always wanted to do that. I just don't, again, it's like I just don't have the patience. It's like you gotta really put your all into it if you're gonna do stuff like that. Otherwise, it comes off cheesy. And you can't even be a comedy magician unless you're a good magician. So. All right, bag number 2 is done. Bag number 2 is not done yet. I think it's probably pays to have tiny little hands when you're doing Legos. I just find it amazing that it's very rare to get a Lego set that's missing a piece. I can't remember what percentage their accuracy is, but it's like just crazy stupid accurate with getting pieces correct. I believe the weight, it's like it can tell when it's off by that much. Mrs. Casual yelling at Archie. Wonder what the heck he's doing. Probably messing with the dog is what he's doing. How many Easter eggs are sealed inside the sets, never to be seen again? What do you mean? What are you talking about with that going, Shirley? What are those Easter eggs? And thank you, Mermaid, for dropping the March Madness link. That's right, guys. You guys are the first ones to get to request a March Madness Pluto game sheet. So be sure to click that link, fill out the form. I do need an email address to be able to send it to you because I keep track of who's got what sheet. That's how I try to make sure that everything is on the level, that nobody is being able to manipulate the game, so that everybody playing has a fair shot. So I've done my best to try to eliminate any potential cheating. So the last thing I want is for everybody to end up telling me like, hey, so-and-so did that, and I'm just like, oh no. Don't want that to happen. Oh, okay, yeah. I got you with the Easter egg stuff. Yeah, those are fun when they do that. When it's something that it's like they put it in there, but technically the only person that's going to get to see it is anybody that was building it. Yeah, they're really good at creating some of this stuff to make it look cool. Look at that. How they make the little area that you're walking in. Amazing. Awesome. Thank you, Manny, for completing the form. Go on, Shogi. Do you have any of the large sets? Casual Junior bought Baradir, but he hasn't built it. Somebody posted on Easter, they showed them their completed Rivendell set. So why does that look weird? and both worth every penny. I hear you, man. Bar Casual Jr. went with me on rope drop day, and he decided he was going to just hang out at the Lego store instead of going into Disneyland because he wanted to make sure that he got that set. And sure enough, he said that by like 8:30, there was already like 20 people in line, and the store didn't open till 10. All right, Barbara, thanks for hanging out. Have a great rest of your night, and we will probably see you in 2025, unless we might see you for the Park Streamers Hangout. We will be doing a hangout this Monday, so if you're able to join us there, if not, we will see you in 2025. Have a great night, Barbara. Thanks again for stopping in. And add the Dutch Disney lover. Welcome in, my friend. Yeah, was it you that mentioned that, Go Shogi, that you looked at it as you're building a character because the tower is Sauron. So yeah, it's definitely the largest character figure, right? Can't call it a minifig because it's set up with dozens of pieces, dozens, hundreds, thousands. What's interesting about this set so far is that it's not 100% symmetrical. Some of it is, but then some of it is not. Because Sleeping Beauty Castle is not symmetrical. At least not in Disneyland. All right, Barbara, we'll see you Monday then. So we're cruising right along on this. I think we're going pretty good. Oh yeah, going shogi. Oh, you bought it at Downtown Disney? So you might have been there the same day that Casual Junior was there because he bought it on opening on the day it became available. That was, like I said, he rope dropped. He rope dropped Baradir rather than going into the parks. Add the Dutch Disney Lover. We are building Sleeping Beauty Castle. So it's a mini version of Sleeping Beauty Castle. But last year we did Cinderella Castle, which I have up on the shelf over here. I might get that down once we finish this one, so we can compare the two. But this year we are doing Sleeping Beauty Castle. I do have Agrabah, which is Jasmine's castle, for next year already. And then I'm also hoping to be able to get the Little Mermaid Castle. I believe that one is also one of the mini castles that they had available. I don't know if it's still available. But that's what I'm hoping to have next year. Is we'll do Agrabah and then hopefully be able to get Ariel's or Prince Eric's castle for the following year. I bet Casual Junior could build something like this in like half the time that it takes me because he knows the pieces way better. So, going Shogi, you seem to be a Lego aficionado. What are your thoughts on when they have pieces that are a little too custom for certain things? Because I feel like they've gotten to the point where they'll just build something, they'll create a piece specifically for an item, and I feel that's cheating at times. Like even these pieces that I'm putting on right now, they're just like, they're like a single stud, but instead of having a stud, it's like a rounded edge. I feel like, okay, did you guys create that just for this? How's that? There's just too many specialized pieces now, I feel. Takes away some of that magic that Lego has. Not much. Legos are still cool. They're not actually too bad, but and everybody, we have the stuff where it's like we put together like two pieces, and it's like, okay, there's the airplane. It's like all you have is this, and it's like, there's the airplane. That's Legos when I was really little. Before they had all of the amazing cool sets. Two. Yeah, see, that's the kind of stuff I do like when they use, items to become something else. Like they use the frogs to make the cherry blossoms. I love when they do stuff like that. That is the inventive stuff that is only Lego. Oh, little castle is coming together. Look at that. I'm surprised they didn't have any little designs to put on the inside of the walls in the hallway right there. You know, fun little Lego tapestry or something. Bag number 3. They are looking just like the illustration, so that's good. Yeah, the old space stuff is really cool. I think Casual Junior grabbed a couple of those sets. But the one that he was really into right now is the throwback castle. That's the one that he really got into, and he bought a bunch of extra knights to go with those sets. He bought like 30 extra knights of each of the different factions, if you will. Yeah, the stickers are always the part where you just get that, oh God, I got to get this right. If it doesn't go on right, I'm going to be so upset. It's like, it's funny. And that is pretty much a universal thing. It's like everybody gets like that. Like there's no one who puts on Lego stickers with oh, no big deal. I had to redo a few of these pieces sometimes because it does not get it right. All right, bag number 4. Oh, that's on YouTube. That's nice of them. I bet when they said in there, like, haha, this idiot didn't put the stickers right. Or worse, they're like, oh my gosh, this guy probably got it off by, 1/32 of an inch of an angle, and he just needs to get it right. I'd probably be that guy. Again, you have to be smart and do things like this. You probably put this piece in. Realize, hey, I got to put that piece in first before putting that piece because it's going to be too difficult to maneuver. This so much work sometimes. I don't know, it's a tiny little set, it seems, but a lot of effort involved. So one of the things I'm hoping to do in the coming year, in 2025, is get back to us just hanging out at the park. I remember when we would do I'd be doing my streams, and late at night we'd just be walking around the park and just kind of talking, reminiscing about our memories at the parks and things like that. We would just be talking about life. Those were some of the fun times that I remember from the streams. I want to get back to some of those, having some of those moments. Yeah, Manny, most people will display their Legos. Usually it's the older set. Once you get into your teens, it stops becoming, hey, let's pull it apart and rebuild something. Once you're that old, it's, I built it, I want to display it. Way back when, I used to do puzzles, and I had puzzles of the Disney movie posters. They were like 2 foot by 3 foot puzzles. And I would actually put the puzzle coating, let them glue together, and then put them in a frame. Go and Shogi, you know, I was just thinking about that the other day. If, you know, if Disney could redo Sleeping Beauty Castle, would I want them to do it bigger the way they did Cinderella Castle, or would I want them to keep it small? And I was like, gosh, I don't know. Because I love the proportions of Sleeping Beauty Castle. I guess if you could just make it larger, I'd be a little bit okay, but still, I wouldn't want it too big. I think there's something about the exactly the charm that can't be you can't redo that, and as it gets bigger, it loses that. And as much as, you know, Cinderella Castle and even the Sleeping Beauty Castle in Paris, they're beautiful and grand and everything. I think there's something about Sleeping Beauty Castle at Disneyland that, like you said, there's a charm about it that is not found in those other castles. And I would hate to lose it. And I think that's what Disneyland has over all these other parks. I've never been to anywhere other than Disneyland and Magic Kingdom, so I can't speak to Florida from a personal experience level. And I've heard that it is a fantastic castle. It looks amazing, but Walt's touch is just something you cannot capture anywhere else. Yeah, exactly, man. You lose that ambience that's part of Sleeping Beauty Castle. It's the forced perspective makes it feel a little bit bigger, but at the same time, it's an approachable castle, and I think it lends itself to the warmth that you feel at Disneyland. And I've always said Disney World is grand, it's beautiful, but it feels so much more plastic than Disneyland. And Disneyland, as they redo things, starts to feel more plastic, and that's a shame that that's the way it's going. But I mean, obviously, building standards and building materials and things like that are what they are. But yeah, when you start losing some of that you're losing some of that texture. Oh, Paul, what they did in Hong Kong is just the craziest thing. It's like you can still see the small castle, and it's like it's got this big monstrosity added on top and behind it. It's just like, oh my God, what were you thinking? It's like, was it really that much of an issue for people? And obviously, I guess it was, but yeah. Yeah, Paul, those moments like you mentioned with the monorail, it's like I love having those times when there's nobody around. In fact, the other night when I was at Disneyland, I wanted to hang out just for a few minutes, after Sweeper Train and everything, and just kind of take in the park at Christmas time, because that's definitely going to be the last time I'm there in the evening, at night for the holidays. If I go on January 4th, it's going to be a rope drop, and then I have to leave. Somewhat early, not early, but I will not be able to stay into the evening. So yeah, it's like you want to catch those moments whenever you can. You have to stack a 1 by 1 or 1 by 4 on top of a 1 by 4. It's like it tends to tilt to get all wacky. Yeah, Manny, Disney World, you don't understand unless you've been there just how far it is to walk to anything. At Disneyland, you're like, oh, let's go on Splash Mountain. From Tomorrowland, you're just like, oh, we're at Splash Mountain. At Disney World, it's like if you're in Tomorrowland, it's like, all right, who wants to go to Splash Mountain? All right, everybody get a snack, get some water. We're on our way. In fact, when me and Mrs. Casual had the trip planned for Disney World way back in 2000, we basically trained for it. We went on hiking trails and did tons of walking in preparation for it because we knew, man, we're going to be there for. I think we were there 8 days, 9 days, something like that, and maybe it was 7 days, 7 or 8 days, something like that. And we knew we were going to just be walking the whole time, so we trained, and then the last full day that we were there at Epcot, at about 5 o'clock, we just sat on a bench, looking over the lagoon all the way across to the countries. We just sat there and we were just like, holy mackerel, we're tired. we were exhausted. We just sat there waiting for our dinner reservation. We didn't want to do anything. We didn't want to go anywhere, which is crazy for me because normally I'm like, go, go, go until I literally drop. Especially when it comes to the Disney parks. That was the one time I was going to get to Florida. Who knows when I'm going to get back? It's like I would have go, but we were just exhausted. That's Disney. Yeah, the Lego sets are not cheap. In fact, I think the one that I'm building, this was probably a $40-$50 set at least. I think. I have to double check, but yeah, they're not cheap. In fact, Casual Junior, sometimes I have to question him and say, is this really what you want to spend a few $100s on? He'll be like, yeah, totally worth it. Yeah. The only solace I take in that is that we know he is putting money aside and he's not spending money that he doesn't have. It's not like he's putting it on a credit card or anything. Go and show. Yeah, I can imagine. I can't even imagine having to deal with a wheelchair. And in fact, the family, Mrs. Casual and Casual Junior, took Grandma Casual, and she needed a wheelchair, and that was the only reason that she agreed to go was that she's going to have to deal with being in a wheelchair. And for many years, it was oh, I'm too embarrassed. And finally, she relented and went. But yeah, and Mrs. Casual was just like, she's all, people are so rude. She's all, we're trying to go through with the wheelchair, and people are just like walking in front of us, not moving, doing it, and just, it's like, yeah, I can see how people would be like that. I try not to be. I try to pay attention and make sure that if somebody's in a scooter or wheelchair, I give them some room. But sometimes, like the scooters, it's you're in the crowd and they're so much shorter and they're moving quick sometimes, and you just don't see them, and you're just like, whoa. But there's no way I could deal with a scooter at Disneyland. I would be insane probably. And I think it was Paul. I think it was you that said we should try to do that as a group of streamers. Me, Bob, and Cordy all rent one of the scooters, and go through a day or a stream on a scooter, and meet back at Town Square and kind of trade notes. I was like, I'd be insane. I'd probably be on the news. Some madman at Disneyland went nuts and started running people over. I don't know how people do it with the scooters at Disneyland. It's so tight. You know, that's one of the things. It's like a lot of people don't think you can go to the, they feel weird going to the parks alone. I thought I was going to feel weird, especially live streaming. I did not think that this was going to be something that I would get into. I knew from, hanging out with Orange Grove 55 on their streams, I was like, okay, I like the YouTube thing. I like talking about this stuff. It wasn't until I decided one day at Knott's Berry Farm, I was like, well, you know what, let's give it a shot. So I bought a gimbal, and I figured, you know what, if I don't like this, if I don't enjoy it, I could always just return it, and that's that. But I liked it enough to where even with all of the crazy, stupid things I've done, as far as, technology wise and all of that, just all the mistakes and just dumb things I've done on the streams, I've kept at it. That is very, very odd for me. Normally, if I fail as much as I have with this, I usually just give up. Scooter scavenger hunt. Well, we'd have to find out, what are the tough things to do on a scooter, and then say, okay, these are the tasks you got to complete, and then see how long it takes for me to lose my mind. Stephen Rocky Singleton, sorry to hear you're sick today, my friend. I hope you'll feel better soon. Hopefully you're, at the very least, you're better by New Year's, so you can enjoy the New Year's festivities. I appreciate you guys with the encouragement. Sometimes it feels like I'm still struggling and muddling my way through things, but like I said, for the fact that I haven't given up is a testament to how much fun I have on the streams. Because anything else that I would be failing and looking like I don't know what the heck I'm doing, anything else I would have given up a long time ago. But I think a lot of it has to do with you guys just, number one, hanging out in the chat. That's always appreciated. But again, the encouragement and the fact that, like I've said before, the fact that I see the names come back is always shocking to me. I don't take it for granted. Even the few of you guys that are hanging out tonight, I appreciate you guys. I don't take it for granted. There's plenty of other things that you guys could be doing and watching, and you guys are hanging out here. Even the Ninja Watchers, I appreciate that, because it does help, when you look at, the analytics, and it's like, okay, am I improving? Am I able to gain new audience? Or are we just kind of flailing around and just muddling our way through? We were talking earlier tonight, I was mentioning when I did the banner redesign that's my critiques. Those are the kind of things that I'm looking at, that where Disney should be doing better, and what is it? I'm always looking at those kind of things. What is it about the parks that we love? What are the things that, what are the little touches sometimes that really bring things home? And I was watching, I think it was I can't remember who it was. Somebody went on It's a Small World holiday recently, just the other day. And one of the things I love about that, and it's going to seem really stupid, but it's one of those little moments that I was like, that is the magic that somebody who gets it. When you first go in, you go past the first little things, and then the archway just before you go into the first country or first, area, there's a bunch of like little just cut out bells at the top of that archway. And as you're approaching, just as you go under it, the little bells, you start hearing the bing, bing, and the bells start just swinging back and forth. And I'm like, that's one of my favorite little scenes in that whole thing. It's something so simple, but yet to me, it's like, it's those tiny little touches that round out and make the experience what it is. And you can't, that's the kind of stuff you can't teach somebody. That has to just be somebody that understands what they're doing. That's why I was thinking about it. I was like, those are you can have a, themed entertainment, theme park theory class, but it doesn't matter if you don't understand the nuance of a theme park and themed attractions. I was arguing with somebody on Twitter about the carriage house at Haunted Mansion, and I was like, it's too big. And he was like, if you've studied, themed entertainment like I have, and theatrical design the way I have, and blah, 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 as I have, you'd know that it works. And I'm like, okay, number one, no, I haven't studied all that stuff, but I know what works and what doesn't when I'm standing in front of it and I'm sitting here looking at it going, it's a freaking monstrosity. I don't care what theory you're going to use. It doesn't work in in practice. It's like, that's the difference. And people don't understand that. It's like, you could have all the theory in the world on your side, but if it doesn't work in practice, it doesn't work and you've messed up. And it's okay to say, hey, yeah, I think we missed this. I think we messed this one up. We may need to adjust. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But it's the fact when it's like, nope, it works. Well, no, I've been there. I've seen it in person. It doesn't work. It's like, why are you trying to convince me that it does? It's like, out of the hundreds of thousands of different little details in Disneyland, it's like, how come this is the one that suddenly I don't get it? It's like, sorry, that's a cruddy and stupid way to look at it. Did I do something wrong here? What's going on? Oh, yeah, I did that one. Gotcha. It's like, if you have to pull out theory like that to convince somebody that it works, it doesn't work. It's like, do you get that? Do you understand that this is not something that you should have a degree in theme park? What's going on here? Okay. All goes well. You'll be in Disneyland November 24th to December 1st, 2025. Awesome. I hope all goes well. And I hope that I will be able to meet up with you one of those days, at least one. My lying eyes deceive me. Now, see, here's another thing, Paul. I'm not even so much, as a, for me, it doesn't even matter if it's period accurate. What I need is it for it to feel right. Because like when you're walking through Adventureland, things are not 100% accurate to what they would be like in any sort of, area, that's either in Africa or Asia, because it's such a conglomeration of things, but they feel right. That's the thing. It's like it has to feel right. It's like Main Street. The buildings are all smashed together. Your eye doesn't register it that way. That's what's, again, this is one of those things where it's like, if it feels right, it's okay. When your eye can't quite register what's happening because they hit it so well, that's the way to do it. And it's funny because that carriage house, from when the framing went up, if you guys remember on the streams, I was saying, this looks like it's going to be too big. And all I saw was the framing. There was nothing sticking out. There was no awning or anything. It was just a frame. I was like, that is going to be too big. I called it from the start, and everybody was like, oh, just wait till it's done. Wait till it's done. You can't be critical until it's done. And I'm like, you know what? I'm a designer. Maybe not a, architect, but I can usually spot things like that are going to happen, even in my designs. It's like, okay, wait a minute. If we're doing this, this is going to be off over here. So we got to adjust that, whatever. It's like, stop telling me to wait when I know I don't need to wait. Yeah, exactly. Getting payback from your emotional investment, and you need to be able to, and this is probably the wrong terminology, but you have to be able to fool people. If you don't fool them, you're never going to get that, like you said, the emotional payback. You're not going to get the emotional investment from people, because most of what we're looking at the parks is all fabricated. It's all fantasy. And therefore, you need to get people to buy into the fantasy. Let me see a piece. I might be missing a piece, guys. Weren't we just talking about how amazing Lego is it? Not having pieces missing? Oh, that's what I did wrong. Okay, not missing a piece. I just misconstrued what was happening. Sneaky dress. And that's what I like about having a lot of you guys in the chat. Is you guys understand that kind of stuff. You guys understand, the different levels that you have to have when it comes to creating a proper theme park atmosphere or attraction. Even if, it's like the whole Madame Leota's Somewhere Beyond. It's like you went with the most generic terminology that she speaks rather than the regions beyond. And why did it? I get so irritated with how branded the naming has to be. It's like it's got to be Madame Leota's Regions Beyond. It's like at that point, just call it Madame Leota's. You don't need the Somewhere Beyond. That just it's pointless and dumb, in my opinion. She probably could have just called it Leota's, and everybody would have been fine. Everybody would have got it. Trust your viewers. I always have to do that with my clients. Say, you can trust your viewers. People are not dumb. least most people. Let's put that. Most people are not dumb. It's okay to do something that they don't quite get at first, and then they realize, oh, look at that. It's okay. It's okay. This would be so much easier if I had a Command Z and just be able to undo something real quick rather than have to pick it off. You know, Manny, they probably should have done that where you exit into the shop, because the way it is right now, you exit right into one of the posts from the awning. It's like, who okayed this? It is like the worst positioning. The size is just way out of whack. I mean, when you look at the concept art, and don't give me the, well, it's only concept art thing, because you can make concept art look very accurate to what you end up building. Or you could do it very horribly and have it look nothing like the concept art, which is what they went with. It's like the concept artist or the architect is way off, one or the other. And I hate it because there's people that are just like, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. It's like, wait a minute. What are you talking about? Did you see it? Did you look at it? You know, I'll go and show you. That's exactly it. It should have just been the carriage house and just left it at that. That would have been fine too. Because yeah, technically, that's actually, you know what? Now that you say that, I'm going with that. That is the better name. It did not need to be branded in any capacity. You could have just let the shop stand on its own and just be the carriage house. And everybody would know exactly what you're talking about. You need to have the trademark to it. And since I've got a good group of you guys in here, you guys are going to want to be on the Park Streamers Hangout on January 13th. We have a friend of mine lined up to join us, and that is Josh Shipley, who is a former Imagineer. He will be joining us on the podcast on the 13th. He is now at Universal Creative in Florida. Yeah, Paul. It's one of those things where it's like they did the concept art, and then, like you said, the marketing and merchandising departments came in and said, we need X number of square feet of sales floor space. And that's when they said, well, that's going to be like all the way out to here. Yeah, okay, that's great. That's what we asked. What we need. And there was nobody that could say, no, we're not doing that. Because that's really what they need. They need somebody that's got the pull to be able to tell those people, sorry, no, we're not doing that. We can do this if you want, but we're not doing that. And even with Tiana's, I remember it was going back and not back and forth, but having posts and responding to with Eddie Sato on Twitter, and he was saying that, you know what, Bruce Vaughn is in charge. I'm gonna going to trust that he's got it under control. And I was like, I hope so. Kind of want to go back to those posts and ask him, so what you think now? So I'm sorry, that Tiana thing is just rough. It wouldn't be half as bad if it wasn't that it's replacing Splash Mountain, but and the people that are like, oh well, you can't compare it to Splash Mountain, blah 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 blah. No, I'm going to compare it to Splash Mountain because that's what we had to lose in order to get this. So. Yeah, I'm hoping that having Josh on will get some behind the scenes stuff. I know we're not going to really be digging for dirt or anything that's going to get him in trouble or anything like that. So, but I am looking forward to hearing his opinion on some of the stuff at Epic Universe. I'd like to hear, if there's something that we haven't seen that he's excited about. Not that he can, divulge any of the details if we haven't seen it yet, but something that, has been announced, but we don't know what to expect quite yet. Man, it feels like we're going to be wrapping up this castle really quick here, and don't have a lot left to work with. Should be interesting. Man, the attraction, restaurant, and shop. You've got several shops. Got several shops for Tiana. You've got Ray's Berets. You've got Eudora's thing in New Orleans Square, and then you've got Lewis's Critter Club or whatever they're calling them over there. So you've got 3 shops, a restaurant, and the attraction itself. Seriously, going Showgate. Sometimes it's frustrating, isn't it, when it's like, I could have come up with something better than what they did. Epic Universe. That's why I'm curious to see what happens if Epic Universe. I think I've said this on the stream. If they can make sure that they don't have a lot of broken down rides for the first month and a half or so, if they can pull off a solid opening, then it's going to be a massive hit. I think it's going to do well. I just don't know if it's going to be the Disney World killer the way people think. It definitely has the potential. I'm not gonna deny that. But they have to hit a home run right from the get-go. Because that's going to be the deciding factor for a lot of people is if it goes off and everybody's coming back going, oh my God, it was amazing. We had a blast. It was, and everybody's constantly talking about it and you're seeing the rides working and all the effects happening, then you might get into the point where it starts actually stealing a lot of Disney's business. Because from what I've seen, it definitely has that potential because it looks amazing. And it's not even like, oh, well, the Dark Universe or the Harry Potter stuff looks really cool. It's everything. Even the How to Train Your Dragon stuff, the more we see of it, the more you just start going, oh my God, that looks cool. And there's people that were, a lot of people would say, How to Train Your Dragon, is that really a viable franchise and IP to build an entire land? Do people really care about it? I think they do. They've made enough of those movies that people have an interest in it, at least somewhat, at the very least. And like I said, the way it looks from photos, and if you guys aren't following BioReconstruct, you got to follow BioReconstruct on X. That guy gets so many amazing photos. This one right here. Well, I hope so, Going Chuggy. Like I said, it right now, people are very particular with their money. So you don't have the luxury of too many swings and misses. So there's going to be a lot of Disney people that are just looking for anything to bash when it comes to that park. So you don't want to give any extra ammunition. But like I said, if they are able to pull off a really good opening, I think it could potentially be something that Disney suddenly goes, whoa, we need to rethink this. Because there is the potential that they get their lunch handed to them. Yeah, amusement park pirates, I agree that there's going to be a lot of stuff where it's like brand new and everybody's going to be like, wow, there's nothing to get bored with yet. But if you paid a lot of money and you made the trip and you're there for the opening and things aren't going well, people are going to be very vocal about that. You know, I mean, it happens to Disney. You know, as soon as they open something that isn't working, they get taken to task for it, which they should. But at the same point, they're going to do the same thing to Universal, and I think we should, because Universal with this park is trying to say we are just as good as Disney, and it's looking that way, honestly. So if they want to be part of that conversation, they need to be able to, you know, put together a park that can withstand the critiques, even the harsh ones. And I think we should be just as harsh on Universal as we are on Disney if they're going to be trying something this ambitious. And like I said, for me, I really hope they pull it off, because the park looks amazing. And I would love to go and visit Epic Universe as it stands right now. I would love to. So I'm hoping that, you know, through the opening, the growing pains that they might end up with, I really hope that they can keep it going and sustain a quality product. Because I would love to have Disney, you know, taken aback and having to rethink things and having to really push, because and I really hope it happens fast enough so that they don't fill in the rivers of America. I always forget that that's what they're doing. I still can't believe that that's what they want to do it. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the traffic patterns, you know, of the tourism over there once Epic opens. It's going to be, I mean, everybody's going to be watching that really closely. And that's why I said, you know, if they can pull it off to where people are coming home telling everybody, you've got to go see this place, that's going to be the big win. That's why to me they need a fairly flawless opening. Because mainly because if they do have a flawless opening, it's going to be the thing that'll just stick in every Disney fan's craw that, oh, look at that, Universal can open without a ton of technical issues. But that's yet to be seen if they can do that. But that's part of what I would love to see, is to be able to say, you know what, that's what happens when you put quality, you know, above profit. It's like you do the quality, the profit will follow. Acting room for Cars Land. Not even Cars Land. It's going to be something else. It's just so crazy to think that that's what they're going to do. My mind still can't quite register it, honestly. It's like, are they really thinking that's going to be the best idea? Because in my head, that makes no sense whatsoever. But what do I know? Go and Shogi, exactly. I love that Universal is going as big as they are on this stuff. It is amazing to see. But you know, they've got a lot of they have and had a lot of former Imagineers working on this stuff. So it's not really a surprise to see how it's looking so good. All right, guys, we are going to top it off right here. This is the final piece. And there we go. There is your Sleeping Beauty castle. Oh, we got to put our Sleeping Beauty in here. There we go. Sleeping Beauty castle, everybody. I think it turned out pretty good. I like it. Let me grab Cinderella Castle really quick for you guys so we can compare them for a quick second here. Dad, man, walking, welcome in. I would love to get to Orlando, and I would love for some barbecue. Mrs. Dadman here too, as well. Awesome. I'm going to throw your guys' links in the chat really quick here. If you guys don't know our friends, the Dadmans. They are content creators here on YouTube. So here we are with the two castles. Make a nice little pair, don't they? And you'll notice I had to switch out on this one. I switched out Mickey for Donald. I'd rather have Donald in my castle. Daryl Chin, welcome in. Yeah, I like the how Sleeping Beauty Castle. Actually, I mean, all the castles are pretty much asymmetrical. I think they've all patterned them, loosely on Neuschwanstein, so they all have that, turret that's off to the side, kind of thing. But yeah, I've always loved Sleeping Beauty Castle. It's always been my favorite, even though like we talked about, the other castles are grander, maybe a little more ornate, a little more elaborate. But Sleeping Beauty Castle has always been my favorite. It's always the one that has felt the most right, if that's a term. Exactly, buddy. I don't know why they haven't done more of the, attractions sets. I mean, can you imagine a nice, I can't remember what the initials are. The UCS Ultimate Collector Series. Help me out, going Shogi. What's the Ultimate Builder sets? What are those called? I would love something like that. Of Thunder Mountain. You could do a really cool Space Mountain set with a little coaster inside. I'd love it. Oh, thank you, buddy. Yeah, UCS. I didn't do my bank account for a Thunder Mountain. I know that's. I feel like they're just leaving money. It's money on the table, and it's not even like you would have. I don't know if it's the kind of thing where for them to be able to produce the sets, it takes X amount of dollars to have them engineered and all the packaging, marketing, all that kind of stuff involved. But I mean, a Thunder Mountain set, if you could sell them for probably easily $1,000, you'd have dozens of people still buying them. Kiki and Luca, welcome in. All right, Manny. We will see you later. Thanks for hanging out. You have a happy new year if we don't see you before then. Otherwise, we will see you in 2025, my friend. So yeah, these are our little castles. Like I said, I've got the Agrabah set that we will be building next December. Add the Dutch Disneyland. Yeah, if you look up Disneyland Lego sets or Lego builds, there are people that have done some fantastic stuff. There's people that have done Pirates of the Caribbean with water, and they have it, go through. It's just crazy good, crazy amazing what people can do. And there's some really massive sets that people have constructed, like you said, on their own without Lego, without it being a Lego set per se. Well, it's funny, Dad, man. Me and Casual Junior were talking a while back how it's almost like Lego and Star Wars are the only things that saved each other. It's like Lego without the Star Wars sets may have fallen into obscurity, but they had, the old school Star Wars stuff, and were able to stay afloat because of that. And then Star Wars, the only toys that are really selling are Lego Star Wars. Other than that, Star Wars toys they're just kind of there. They're not really, at least from what I see, when I'm in the stores. I'm not in the stores all that much, but I don't see much Star Wars merchandise, in the toy departments other than the Lego stuff. And the Lego stuff, it's there's a lot of Star Wars. And that's also true, Kiki and Lucas. Toys, kids just aren't into toys the way previous generations were. Phones are the big thing. Computers, iPads, all that stuff is where kids are now. It's we thought video games were hot when we were kids. It's a whole other level. Now you can become a professional video game player. You can become a big shot YouTube gamer. So it's a completely different thing going on nowadays. So, but we have our castles, and we'll be working on the Agrabah next year. So we have something to look forward to already. We had tin cans and wax string to talk through. Yeah, competitive gaming leagues. It's crazy what they've got. In fact, at where I work, we're a nonprofit, and we're looking to possibly get a gaming tournament. Small size, but a local gaming tournament going to raise funds to have a fundraiser. So. Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, Paul, there were so many different things that we did when we were little. It's like, I used to try to build my own Disneyland. I mean, Legos like this, I would kill for when I was a kid. In fact, I was just telling Mrs. Casual that one of my one of the toys that I remember the most from Christmases when I was little, the toy was the Snoopy Speedway. And all it is a little motorized, chain lift, if you will, and the little cars would go up the lift and then zigzag their way back down and go back up the lift. And I love that, which isn't surprising considering how much I like theme parks and roller coasters. Having a little tiny version of a roller coaster was the coolest thing for me. Spirograph, I remember Spirograph. There was the color forms was. You would color them and then they'd shrink down into a little hard piece of plastic. Was that color forms? No, those were Shrinky Dinks. Yeah, those were Shrinky Dinks. Color forms were the little ones that were the little plastic that you could peel off and move around, right? Yeah, buddy, that's stuff that I love. But Kids these days. Did I show you guys these on the stream? That I got all the buttons for theme park casual seasons. I don't even remember if I showed you guys these. Got all the different seasons. In fact, I got to try to get the website finished up this weekend too, so that it's ready when I do the big announcement about March Madness and Chalk Walk and everything on my website. Ready to go, so that I can direct people to an easy URL rather than, forms.gmail. Blah 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 blah. And you guys can grab your own buttons at the merch store, the TeePublic store. Maybe if I could get you guys that link. There's the link for the merch store. You can grab the buttons on there. One thing I do want to let you guys know, I did order a tank top for Mrs. Casual, and the quality is much lower than I was expecting. I was not very pleased with the quality of the tank tops. So if you're thinking tank top, maybe rethink it. Oh yeah, Trish, the crayon set was 64 crayons. Yeah, if you had one of those, you were cool, and exactly with a sharpener in the back, Paul. Haunted Mermaid. The thing about the tank top, it's a decent quality material. It's the finishing that's not good. And I practically want to, email them and say, what the heck are you doing? This is like so low quality. So instead of, how on the shirts at the sleeves, they fold it and, put the hem on there, the tank top, it's cut, and then they just do the stitching as the edging, as the finishing. And so I was just like, it just feels really cheap. It's like they need to put a hem and stitch it, with a nice fold instead of just, it feels like as if you could just like sit there and just do this and you'd be able to pick the stitching apart. Is really bad. Like I said, I was kind of shocked. I was like not expecting it to be that bad. And I don't know if it's because I chose a red tank top, and they don't have those ready to go. I don't know, but I was really disappointed. Rachel Castro, welcome in. And Amusement Park Pirate, thank you so much for hanging out, my friend. And yes, hope to meet up in 2025. We will see if we can work it out. I'm hoping that my schedule will remain the same, where it's Wednesday nights and then the occasional Saturday or Sunday as well. So hopefully we can meet up sometime. Oh yeah, Paul making a fort out of the cushions. Yep, that was a classic. Actually, one thing that we did was really cool. We got lucky. There was a guy that lived down the street from us when I was probably in like 8th grade, maybe not even 8th grade. It might have been younger than that. There was a guy that lived down the street. He was like a woodworker, and he had these. I don't know. They might have been like 3 by 1.5 panels of like. It was like a particle board kind of thing, but really thin and kind of almost like a really thick veneer, if you will. And they had like the wood finish on one side, but then it was just, particle board underneath. and he had stacks of them on the side of his house. And he said, if you guys want them, you can take them. So we took all these panels, and in our backyard, we had like one of the big wooden spools from the big cables. We had one of those, and we just leaned them up against this and started building this big maze. And so we had this gigantic fort command center thing that you could crawl through. We took up almost the entire backyard slab, and it was, that was like a good, probably a good 40 by 80 foot slab in the backyard or something. We just built this gigantic thing. It was so cool. And it was all free. The guy just said, yeah, you could take it. We don't need them. Exactly. This is the one. What are you guys doing? Imagine what my mom said when she came into the backyard and we had it all covered with these wood panels. It was awesome. Light Bright. Those were fun. It was the early days of pixel art. Oh wow, dirt forts out of the neighbor's swimming pool dirt. That's cool. We would just dig holes and try to go as far as we could. Never got very far though. All right, kids. I think I'm going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out. I have had a fantastic 2024. Obviously not 100% perfect with it, but I can't complain with what's happened this year. You guys have been amazing for the support, amazing just to be able to hang out and get to know you guys. I hope you guys have a fantastic 2025. We do have the Park Streamers Hangout coming up on Monday. We're going to be talking about some of the stuff that's been happening at the parks, as well as some of the stuff coming up for 2025. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for the support with the channel. This has been a fun thing for me to do. I can't believe we're already 2.5 years in. It's just crazy for me. But hopefully I will see you guys all in 2025. Got hopefully a ton more adventures. Don't forget, we will be kicking off the full-blown. Let me get the form one more time for you guys, just in case anybody's new. We're going to be kicking off the March Madness here at the beginning of the year, possibly as early as next Saturday. We shall see if I'm able to make it to the park. I'm going to put the form in there right now. Oh, I think I got the wrong link. Let me delete that. I need to get the proper link. There's the link. So there you can sign up. You guys will have the first stab at getting your Pluto game sheet for 2025 March Madness, which is coming up in just over 2 months. Crazy. But again, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. I appreciate y'all. Like I said, thank you so much for all the support over the last couple of years, and looking forward to another fantastic year in 2025. And I hope you guys will be there to join me for all the shenanigans that happen on the unpredictable TPC streams. So with that, if I don't see you guys on Monday, have a very happy New Year, and just remember, relax, be casual, and we'll see you next time, kids. Have a great night, everybody.